Hey guys, welcome back to For the Meeple, by the Meeple. I'm Mike Carpenter, and today I'm taking you through Libertalia. This is a 2 to 6 player role selection game in which players are pirates trying to gain the greatest share of the treasure. Let's take a look at the game, and then we'll come back and I'll talk about my final thoughts. Here is the setup for a 3-player game of Libertalia. Setup for this game is pretty simple. You're going to start by placing the main board and the scoring track in the center of the table. The main board simply holds sections or spaces for the players to place their character cards, and then 6 locations at the bottom that will hold the booty tokens. Players are going to draw booty tokens at random from this black bag and then place them face down in the sections on the main board. There will be as many booty tokens drawn for each location as there are players in the game. So you have 3-player game, 3 booty tokens for each location. Once that is complete, players are going to take 10 doubloons from the supply each, and then draw a random crew marker card to tell them which color they are, and then they will take the Pirate's Den and the deck of 30 character cards of that color. These character cards are the heart of the game, and each character card is going to have a number in the top left corner that tells the players the rank of that card. Each card will then have an icon or multiple icons in the center area beside their special ability, and there are 4 of these icons available. These 3 icons, the daytime, desk time, and nighttime phases, are going to be executed in each round, and then this icon is going to be played at the end of each campaign during the scoring phase. There is also a tie-breaking number here in the bottom left corner that will be used in case 2 players play the same number card during each round. The player with the higher number in this tie-breaking area is going to be considered the higher ranked card. Libertalia is played over 3 campaigns, and each campaign consists of 6 rounds. At the beginning of each campaign, players are going to have to determine which character cards they have available to them. At the beginning of the first campaign, the youngest player is going to draw 9 cards at random and announce these 9 cards to the other players. The other players will then draw the same 9 cards from their decks and then place them in front of them, and that will be the starting hand for each player. Once that is complete, players are ready to begin the first campaign. The first campaign is played over 6 rounds, and each of those rounds is made up of 4 phases, and then at the end of the 6th round, there is a 5th phase that is for scoring. At the beginning of of each round, players are going to reveal the 3 booty tokens that correspond to the location that matches the current round. So the players will reveal these 3 booty tokens at the beginning of the first round, so that they can kind of determine where they want to be in the rank order and which cards they would like to play. So the first phase of a round is going to be the sunrise phase. During the sunrise phase, players are going to select 1 card of their choice from their hand and play it face down in front of them. Once each player has chosen their card, they are going to reveal simultaneously which cards they have played. Players are then going to place these cards that have been played in ascending order from left to right on the main board. So it would be the blue card, the green player, and then the yellow player. Once players have positioned the cards appropriately based on their ranks, the players are going to move to the second phase, which is the sunrise or daytime phase. During the daytime phase, players are going to execute their card's special ability if it has the daytime phase icon in ascending order. So the blue player would definitely execute their daytime phase first, and then if any other players had the same icon, they would get an opportunity to execute theirs. Once the daytime phase ends, we move to phase 3, which is the dusk phase, and during the dusk phase, play is going to move in descending order, and any player that has a dusk phase icon is going to execute their special ability. However, players are also going to be sharing the booty tokens during this phase. So as players come back down through descending order, the highest ranked card is going to get to select which booty token they would like to take. In this case, the three booty tokens we have two bad or negative tokens, and then we have one that is a map. The maps have to be collected in sets to score any points, but they are not negative impacts if you do not collect the set. So the yellow player is going to take the map. The green player's ability during the desk time phase is don't take any booty tiles. So the green player is going to utilize his special ability to not have to take either of the negative tokens or booty tokens, and then the blue player would have to select one of the remaining two tokens. So in this case, the player is going to take a cursed relic, which will negatively impact his points during the scoring phase, and then the conquistador token is just going to be left to no one. After players have shared the booty tiles and done their dusk phase special abilities, play will move to the nighttime phase, and any player in all players will simultaneously execute their nighttime phase, and in this case the yellow player would gain one doubloon from the supply. Once players have completed the nighttime phase, each player is going to take their cards back to their den. Cards that have been played during a round, during a campaign, are going to be placed face up in their pirate den. Several character cards will then reference cards in the player's pirate den and affect how the special ability of a particular character card is executed. If a character card is ever discarded because of the power of a special ability on a character card, or some of the different types of booty tokens, it is going to be placed face down under the pirate's den, and it indicates that the card has been removed from play. If it were the end of 6 rounds and the campaign were coming to an end, any player that had a character card in their den that had the day of rest or scoring phase icon would then execute the special ability of that card. To execute the scoring phase at the end of each round, players are going, or at the end of each of the 3 campaigns, players are going to look at all the booty tokens they have collected. So if this player had collected these 3 icons, or booty tokens, they would have 5 points from this treasure chest, but -6 points total, -3 for each of these cursed relics. So the player would actually lose one of their doubloons and put it back in the supply. The player is then going to count how many doubloons they do have left, so in this case 9 for the blue player, and that player is going to score 9 points on the scoring track. Each of the players are going to count how many doubloons they have from their scoring, or their booty tokens and their doubloons, and move their token along the scoring track during this phase. Once the campaign comes to an end, all booty tokens would have been removed during the 6 rounds of the campaign, so they will all be placed back in the bag, and then new tokens are going to be placed face down for the second campaign, and then again for the third campaign. And players are going to start each campaign with 10 doubloons, no matter what their score was during the previous campaign. At the end of the first campaign and at the end of the second campaign, players are going to typically only have 3 cards left from their hand that were not played in the previous campaign. All cards that were played are going to be discarded and no longer used in the current next campaign, and then the youngest player is going to draw 6 cards at random from their deck of unused cards, and then announce those 6 cards to the players, and other players are going to take the same 6 cards from their deck and create a second hand of 9. Now, players are going to definitely have 6 of the same cards, but there is an opportunity for players to have 3 different cards from the previous campaign. So now players do not have exactly identical hands, but instead have 2/3 that are definitely identical, and then a potential for some variety in the 3 cards that were not played in the previous campaign. Once players have completed 3 campaigns, they are going to see who is furthest along on the scoring track, and the player with the most points is the winner of the game. So there you have it. That is Libertalia. My final thoughts on the game. First, depth of strategy. There is definitely strategy going on in this game, but it is not focused on developing an engine, gathering resources, and making the game go. It's more about the psychology that is occurring at the table. I know what 9 cards you have at the beginning of the game because they're the same as mine. I know 6 of the 9 cards you have for sure at the beginning of the second campaign and the third campaign. And if I'm really paying attention, I'll know all the cards you have in the second campaign and potentially the third if I can keep it all straight in my head. So what that makes it boil down to is who is going to play the best sequence of these 9 cards each campaign. Now, I find that to be enjoyable in this game. And that's simply because there's so many cards. There's 30 character cards, there's 30 different roles, there's going to be a different combination of cards each time I start the game or start each campaign. So I find it to be just a great measurement of who plays the game the best. I don't find this game to be luck based. There obviously some tokens come out at random. That's a little bit of luck, but you have a lot of opportunity to prepare for what tokens are out based on the character cards, the rank orders, the tiebreakers. There's a lot to consider to mitigate the luck of those tokens. It just boils down to who's going to play the best sequence of these 6 cards, and who is going to maximize the benefit of each of the cards. So I find that to be enjoyable, but with that said, it's not the deepest level of thought you're ever going to find in strategy. And if you don't have the best strategy, you're still going to appear competitive, but you're probably not going to win the game. So I would give depth of strategy a 3.5 out of 5. There are multiple approaches to the game, multiple strategies, but the better strategies or the better implemented strategies are definitely going to win in Libertalia. Next, the replayability of this game. You would think it would be off the charts with 30 character cards and different special abilities available. But at the end of the day, I would say it boils down to the same feel every time. And that's because the psychology aspect of the game is so strong. No matter what cards are available to me, I'm not just thinking about what the cards do, I'm thinking about how other players are going to play their cards, in addition to how I'm going to play mine, and how I can maybe tweak my sequence to maybe outplay the opponents. So the game boils down to that feeling on a regular basis to me. It's not so it's very similar each time I play. The character cards alone don't really drive the replayability in this game for me because they're just they're not really all that exciting. A few of them are fun, a few of them give you a little bit of a gamble here and there, but for the most part, they're all pretty blasé kind of special abilities that don't do a whole lot to the game, or they're not real engaging or exciting. But because there's so many, and they do work together at times, it allows you to try to develop a strategy, and I get caught up in that more so than what the game is actually offering with the booty tokens and the character card. So the replayability is there for sure. I can't argue that because there are so many cards. The combinations are endless. But the game basically stays pretty similar from play to play. So I would give it a 3 out of 5, meaning that the replayability, the short-term replayability is high. You're probably going to enjoy this game several times when you first get it, but the replayability may fade with time. As with any game, but I see it happening with this one probably a little quicker than some of the others. Finally, the design of the game. I find this design to be very, very smooth and very impressive. The fact that the phases function a little bit differently, meaning we're going to go in ascending order, we're going to then come back in descending order, and then we're going to simultaneously perform the nighttime phase. And the booty tokens force you to make those decisions as to how you want to be ranked in all of your different phases. It's just it works really well. The mechanisms are a nice little combination that was a surprise to me. I had played Citadels, I had played Mission Red Planet. Those are two games that have the role selection, and there's always been combinations, but I never had that experience where there were some mechanisms like sharing the booty tiles and the order, not just what you've played, but the order of all the cards being played being such a significant impact. I find the mechanisms and the blend of the mechanisms to be very nice. I don't have a major complaint with this game other than sometimes, even though it's balanced, you can feel robbed by the tiebreaker, which that's just part of the game. You have to deal with that, but it can get frustrating. If you desperately need a token or you don't want a negative token and you lose on a tiebreaker and there's just simply nothing you can do about it. And so there's a little bit of an issue there, not much at all. That's part of the game. So the design as a whole is very, very smooth, very, very well done. I would give it a 3 out of 5, meaning that this is the kind of game that several players are going to be able to enjoy for more than just a few plays. This is going to stay around and offer some fun for several plays. I give the game a 7 out of 10, and that's because I do find the game engaging. I personally don't suggest it all that often. I'm not a huge fan of role selection games. And they're not the first thing I want to suggest all the time, but if somebody else wants to play it, I'm definitely in. I enjoy it. If I have 4 and 5 players, this would be a really fun game for me because it doesn't really slow down as you add a whole lot of players. It's going to take a little longer for sure, but it doesn't get outrageously long when you add more players. So this is definitely a good game. It's definitely a game I enjoy having. That's Libertalia. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, leave them below, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.